Hello, I am Armen Ohan. This is a briefly explanation for the research determine the material of the gravity particles and understand the mechanism of the universe gravity fields. Gravity fields extend from the nuclear constructions of the material objects and expands to the space around them, around the material objects. One gravity particle is photon, where these photons of the gravity particles are in a balanced circumstances between the attraction and repulsion force of the similar and the different charges of the magnetic fields of electrons and positrons, while they forming photons of the gravity particles. The gravity field of each material object composed of a tremendous amount of photons, where this value is in a proportional relationship with the value of the mass in each material object. Photons of gravity particles have a balanced circumstances among them due to the attraction and repulsion forces among the negative and positive magnetic fields of the electron and positron, while these photons representing a particles of gravity fields. The value of the gravity forces changes at each altitude from the surface of materials object in the universe due to the changes in the density of the gravity particles at that point. Because the density of the gravity particles of each altitude determine the gravity force at that point. The attraction occurs among a material objects in the universe because once their gravity fields collide with each other, the magnetic fields of electrons and positrons, while they representing photons of the gravity particles, will start to reorganize their directions and locations in the gravity field to the stable case, the case with a lower energy. Thus, they will form a one and new gravity field among these material objects. This formation of the new gravity field guides these material objects to attract with each other, because the gravity particles have a deep root in the nuclear construction of these material objects. Why we claim that photons are the gravity particles? Because once material being crushed in the material accelerator will generate energy in electromagnetic waves at a different frequencies. Therefore, here we should find how these photons are forming three-dimensional matrices in the neutrons before their crash. And also to find how the density of these particles reduces as much as the distance is away from the center of the neutron, and will reduce gradually until it will represent as flying photons around the neutron And the density also will reduce as much as the distance away from the surface of the neutron. Then these particles, photons, will represent as gravity particles and form the atomic gravity field. The fundamental concept of this research is able to answer most mysterious questions of the gravity issue, starting with how Newton's apple fell down, also explain the gravitational lensing, even explain the truth of the dark matter of the universe at an atomic, nucleus, particle, and subparticle stages. We talk about the gravity issue because it is a very important when we explain any phenomenon, we have to determine the material of the gravity particles and understand the mechanism of the universe gravity fields. And we have to close all gaps, not to keeping any unexplainable mysteries behind. Good luck.